My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only, and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Alrighty, here is the entity following over to the Ontario Town Square, now flying over Elbacon. And so does the fake moon follows right here. This is the entity that is stalking. This is what the U.S. military is doing. They're using commercial airline planes to disguise the fact that they are stalking. And commercial airline planes are equally engaged in stalking as a army jet. But the government's using commercial planes in order to blend in. with regard to not appearing so military-like, in other words, but it's not blending in at all. It's 12:59 in the morning. And this is the elbow cone. This is the entity that is moving the fake moon over. You saw where it sprang up over the Ontario City Hall in alignment to me at the Ovid Family Community Library, where it's over the top of my head, as this entity has for hours since I arrived at the library, flying plane after plane. The Ontario police engaging what is circling around me, doing so while Jason Isaac Fields is gang stalking me as an entity on the internet, and the Ontario police, with whom he is gang stalking me, begin flying in circles around me, and the fake moon is over the top of my head as I move from that part of the portion. That's where the library is. This is where the fake moon is now over me, and this is where the entity is also targeting with commercial planes. And that is, again, the entity that is using commercial airline companies who are engaging in terrorism knowingly. The U.S. military utilizing commercial airline companies that are complicit to the pattern of kind of providing instrumentalities to the U.S. government, and equally going to be federally prosecuted. It's not a defense. Okay. This is P.O.C. The entity is engaged in what is poisoning my food. So, purchasing from 7-Eleven, that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, purchasing a cup of ice, and purchasing food from Stater Brothers, where Erica, Latina female, is ringing me up. And this is where the Ontario police were stalking by helicopter at that Stater Brothers, and stalking by commercial plane at that Stater Brothers Ontario Village Shopping Center. The fake sun over me, all manner of the pattern of conduct, the entity targeting, the entity committing poisoning again. This is the entity that's engaging in that. And this is all what Jason Isaac Fields is sharing in. And this is someone that is utilizing gang stalking and really believed that gang stalking me was going to cause me to look at him as somebody that I should associate with again, while he's engaging in a real-time sexual relationship with this 63-year-old woman, Tracy, who's not even my real mother. They have conspired my murder together. They're still gang stalking, and this is documentation. The entity that is gang stalking me from place to place poisoned my food today. This is also relevant to why the Rock Church did not want to serve food today, but they are engaged in the pattern of conduct inevitably, and they are aware of the fact while the entity is poisoning, they're aware and they don't want to be accused of anything included, and it's inevitable because the entity is stalking me, and they're engaged in the pattern of conduct, whether they want to not feed the hungry and the homeless or not today. They're engaged in poisoning as well. But this is the entity that's gang stalking, and this is P.O.C. It's 12:59 a.m. It's currently now it's 1:02 a.m. And you're looking at the clear distinction from flying over and flying west and floating over there with commercial plane to flying right here over here. And this is what the entity is doing at 1 o'clock, the moment that I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's what the entity is doing. This is the entity that's engaging in that with the Ontario Police Department. And this is exactly what Jason Isaac Fields, these HIV-infected homosexual military personnel, including Jason Fields, Tracy Banks having sex with these people in the military and in law enforcement. And they're all engaged in what is swiping around, trading around HIV while they're gang stalking. They're still gang stalking me with this infection, with this virus. This is relevant to the entity that's obsessed with me, that's not going to rid them of the HIV virus, that's also not going to eradicate what is federal prison for them. They're engaging in what is gang stalking me and further into murder, while I've already proven that they're stalking me. And the entity is also still poisoning me. The people of the state at Stater Brothers are going to federal prison. And this is another... also the 7-Eleven in Upland, California. They've been engaged in poisoning before, doing so by tampering with the ice machine, the fountain machine, and claiming that it is broken, but I'm able to get ice. And this is the same day that the entity is engaging what is tampering with the food, and Stater Brothers also engaged in tampering with the food. So those are the two venues. But I want to document that. This is where the entity is stalking by... this is while the entity is still gang stalking me together. So that's a part of the ongoing cooperative acts of targeting me, poisoning my food, stalking me by plane and helicopter, following me around as an entity, and doing so. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Jason Isaac Fields is not coming anywhere near me. This is somebody that is a psychopath, and this is someone that is desperate with regard to money and assets that you're not getting away with stealing, and you're also not going to keep it. You're not going to, because you're going to prison, but you're not going to get away with it. I'm not going to associate with you. I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to, you don't even have my phone number. You call me, you're admitting to stalking. You show up around me, you're admitting to stalking. This is an entity that's been doing so. You're stalking with the Ontario police, and then you think you're going to stand in my face because you're a delusional psychopath. And you and your wife, Tracy Banks, need to tend to your HIV and virus. That's what you need to do. And stop stalking, because I'm documenting it and you're going to prison. P.O.C. It is currently 1:04 a.m. Stater Brothers employee 8 Xavier Charlie Nancy 532. This is the tall, crusty faced demon. African American, works in Stater Brothers and is gang stalking in the parking lot, walking out of the exit, crossing my path as I walk toward the entrance, and also doing so while the Ontario International Airport is literally flying over the parking lot, doing so while he's approaching his vehicle, a white Saturn. And again, that's license plate 8 Xavier Charlie Nancy 532. This is P.O.C. doing so right now at 6:06 a.m. This is the entire Stater Brothers, not just this demon that's walking to the vehicle with regard to what is stalking in the path, in concert with the entity that's maintaining aerial surveillance, in concert with the entity that's all over the ground. Remember what the entity is doing yesterday afternoon under the fake sun that's here into 4 and 5 o'clock? This is what this entity is doing. This is the same exact entity that's gang stalking under the fake sun that rises at the Stater Brothers. And this is also federal prison because he's poisoning the products that I'm purchasing. License 8 Xavier Charlie Nancy 532. This is a demon. He is in operation of his device. The entity is stalking with light on San Antonio and Holt. And he is also engaged in psychopathic means of stalking me inside of the grocery store as well. And that's while he's collecting a paycheck for the terrorist Stater Brothers that's engaged in criminal monitoring as an entity, and so is Ontario Village Shopping Center. P.O.C. The entity is engaging in this while following me to the grocery store from the Ontario Town Square. And I'm capturing the entity engaging in the pattern of what is stalking with light in that path. So the entity that's following around by maintaining light, this is what's happening during the day. For example, as I document it, when you didn't watch, but I document it and you were able to witness the documentation of the entity keeping the fake sun over me. And then demons, including 9 Xavier Charlie Victor 490, who are crossing path. They are parked, for example, in front of me. They're already in alignment in front of me. And they also come from behind by driving on the road and whatnot, and me crossing path wherever they live, etc. And on the streets, on the roads and the highways and traffic, because this is how they're maintaining light activity. So at nightfall, they're doing so by maintaining vehicle lights, maintaining all manner of lights. But this is chiefly the demons that are stalking using the vehicles. The entity is engaging in what is the same thing during the day under a fake sun, while they maintain all manner of presence in front and all around me with regard to stalking with light, moving their vehicle as I am approaching, like what I am documenting while I am at the Rock Church, where Ontario police are crossing path at that church, doing so as I'm referencing the fact that the entity is engaged in what is targeting by not engaging what is the customary provision of food to the homeless on the every Thursday at the same customary time. And they're also doing so, by the way, at the end of the month when most people are struggling with regard to running out of money, waiting for the first of the month to get a refill on funds. And the entity is doing so with regard to what the homeless have been relying upon. But nonetheless, this is the entity that's gang stalking. That's light activity, while the Ontario police are gang stalking in the same manner that the Ontario International Airport is. This is, again, David Quinones. This is the entity that, your Amazon Prime is flying over my head at this same venue yesterday in the middle of the afternoon while the fake sun's hovering over the same venue. That's after 4 p.m. David Quinones already knows, well, he should know. But this is the entity that has already lost in court. Omnitrans is gang stalking Route 61 right now at 6:09 a.m. License 9 Apple Yolanda Berry 813. And this is where the Ontario International Airport is maintaining serial flight, having nothing to do with the flight's legitimate destinations. This is stalking by that airport. Okay, again, that's license plate 8 Robert 33766. This is P.O.C. The Stater Brothers, Ontario Village Shopping Center, are engaged in gang stalking and sexual violence, terrorism, with the demons that are also making purchases in order to engage in gang stalking. So the idea behind that is I'm going into the grocery store and this is my reason because I feel like I need to have a reason to be here, and that makes it appear as though I'm not stalking, and it does not. The Ontario Police Department makes it very clear that you are stalking. The Ontario International Airport makes it very clear that they and you are stalking. The specific environment, such as the fake sun here after 4 p.m. and the entity gang stalking in that environment, makes it very clear. The entity that's competing with my voice where the airport is miles away, and that's not going to be the case, makes it clear. And also the entity that is stalking with light. All right, the African American, again, is engaging in what is stalking in the path. He parks his vehicle, gets out, goes into the store, and then gets back in his vehicle, and he's pacing around the parking lot. while the entity is pacing in the sky space. This is Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard, I believe number store 108 in Ontario, California, documenting sunrise and sunset, and also documenting same time of day, such as what's remaining over Fontana, Stater Brothers. At the same time, what's remaining in Fontana, while the Stater Brothers has a fake sun as a matter of evidence, remaining for the duration of the day. So that's exclusive, that's preclusive that the sun would be in Fontana, and you are aware of the fact that that is asinine that the entity would engage in keeping a sun. But that's why I document, because murderers like David Quinones, the demons that are gang stalking, that are employed at Stater Brothers, that are engaging in actual surveillance. That's the point of this. It's not a grocery store. They're a gang stalker. They're engaged in criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder with the city of Ontario. Every single employee and the store itself, which is a corporate entity, are engaging in that pattern of conduct. And the government, as you are witnessing, provides direct evidence against the people of the state, proving exactly what they're doing, proving my allegations against the people of the state who are domestic terrorists. They're psychopaths that are stalking with light, the unheard of and mentally ill practice where they are criminally monitoring. And these are dead people. These are mentally ill people. These are the demon possessed. All right. And they're doing so on behalf of the government that's doing things that are psychotic, such as the U.S. military using commercial planes stalking at the neighborhood grocery store. It's P.O.C. All righty. It is currently, by the way, while you're crossing path at the entrance where the entity is maintaining crossing path by the sky space. Hey, Erica, you looking for somebody? I don't know who the box boy is, but that is P.O.C. However, and this is the same party, the same third party that's engaged in gang stalking yesterday afternoon with the entity that is selling me poisoned food products. Okay, so that's the pattern of conduct, and that's literally how the pattern of conduct is executed. You're listening to gang stalking by the government using planes and coming outside and smiling. Hey, you seen the box boy? While they are acting in furtherance of your murder. That is literally the gang stalking system. Okay, and that's because I am maintaining an investigation. Typically, the ordinary target individual is not maintaining a level of professionalism. They're not maintaining their control, self-control. But honestly, this is something that you don't have to have some sort of code of conduct when somebody is targeting you like the U.S. military is. Okay, but this is the entity that's you have to in order to document it. I'm prosecuting the United States government, and I'm going to prosecute the demons that are inside of this ghetto establishment, and they're all going to prison for not only criminal surveillance but also poisoning. And then they're guilty of the totality of the crimes that the U.S. government has committed. That includes sex trafficking. That includes fraud. It includes conspiring my murder in the first place and acting in furtherance of my murder, which is not just gang stalking. This entity literally poisoning is an attempt to engage in what is harming me, but also engaging in what are multiple acts of harm against my person that were ineffective. And the entity is going to prison for that. That's what David Quinones is going to prison. It's not just because he's managing at the gang stalker Stater Brothers. He's going to prison for a lot, and he has proven that he's guilty of all of the above while gang stalking the pattern of conduct by the government that knows where I'm at, and I'm subject to terrorism at that venue, and I'm subject to terrorism inside of that venue. He's going to prison, he and the rest of the employees, and they are acting with impunity while the government is free and comfortable and engaged in that ongoing stalking by commercial plane, by helicopter, and by smaller plane, which is the U.S. military, that are unintelligent. These homosexual predators who are engaging in the pattern of conduct with these imps, these welfare collecting imps that are gang stalking amongst the population, are doing so while they are using commercial airline planes in the United States military tactic behind that is that they look like they're not the military that's attacking you because they have logos on them. I'm going to prosecute Amazon Prime, and I'm going to prosecute the U.S. military. That's the state and the third party agency. That's the military using commercial airline planes, which are third parties providing instrumentalities of interstate commerce to engage in surveilling you, which is equally criminal conduct of Amazon Prime and the U.S. government. And it is not less obvious. It is very clear that the entity is gang stalking, and it's really a matter of detail, which an ordinary target individual does not have to acquire. That information you're going to document, and it's already known that the U.S. government is behind this mentally ill pattern of conduct. P.O.C. Stalking with light, license plate EN38B70. And David Quinones is gang stalking me inside of the grocery store. The vendors are occupying all of the aisles. They are maintaining presence which is outside of, they're never done unpacking. They're never done preparing the store. And that's because they're engaging in activity creation, which while the entity is stalking by commercial planes, it's activity creation. You also know that because impossible light activity fills that grocery store, it's activity creation. They are literally stalking on behalf of the government. This is P.O.C. Let me get this other plane right here. And this is what the entity is doing while I'm documenting license plates en route, and they are accurately documented as co-conspirators of murder. P.O.C. They are stalking in the path with the government. P.O.C. The United States government, this is what Jason Isaac Fields is engaged in, and this is exactly why Jason Isaac Fields is not going to come into my presence. This is a psychopath that is, again, delusional and is still engaged in what is a relationship with Tracy Banks, who's still actively targeting. While the government is targeting, Tracy Banks is targeting. While the government is targeting, Jason Isaac Fields is targeting. And these are demons whose name I know, and I literally dare one of these serial killers to approach me. That would be very problematic, and they are both going to federal prison. Okay, these are both homosexual predators. Tracy Banks, who is a relative of mine, is obsessed with my vagina, and Jason Isaac Fields, who's a sex partner of my mom, my fake mom, Tracy Banks, is sexually obsessed with some fantasy in his mind while he's simultaneously gang stalking and further into murder. They're both mentally ill, and they are behind the entity that is gang stalking me. Okay, doing so while the entity is engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. And Pomona came to Ontario. Okay, the demon sounds of you heard that alarm? The moment that I refer to Pomona, that's going into the venue on surveillance camera right now at 6:16 a.m. is gang stalking, and this is what the entity does typically when you're identifying them. I'm identifying Pomona, California several times in documentation, and Pomona is here gang stalking, representing Pomona. While they're engaged in the pattern of Pomona, City of Pomona Water Resources and Waste Operations, they're also gang stalking me in Upland, California, under the fake sun at 8th Street and Euclid Avenue, which I also documented. This is P.O.C. Pomona, California is engaged in kidnapping by going to West Valley Detention Center and gang stalking by pacing around under the fake sun that sits at Stater Brothers from sunrise until sunset. Shannon Dykes is a gang stalker that keeps a fake sun over the West Valley Detention Center every time he engages in kidnapping with the stalkers of the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario International Airport, who are pacing around while the Ontario police are stalking on the ground and committing kidnapping, like what Craig Hazelwood and Owens committed. And Shannon Dykes is being, that department is being disbanded for kidnapping on behalf of the United States military, serving in what was supposed to be successfully defaming my character. And it is nothing other than the product of stalking me. That's also why Jason Fields and Tracy Banks are going to federal prison, where they won't be able to engage in group gay sex rituals anymore. And they're engaging in what is criminal activity to date as well, while I remain subject to it. And that's also what you see reflected on my X feed. All right, the fact that Jason Isaac Fields represents an unlawful threat. He is literally a threat, and he is a psychopath who's committed acts of defaming my character, kidnapping me as an entity, stalking me obsessively for years, doing so while maintaining perverted, sick, and sexual relationships with people that I know. Like, I'm hanging out with the fake friend Shanita, and she's having sex with Jason Fields, and I don't even know that these two met. That's what the type of character that these demons have while they're engaged. It's not about hurt feelings. It's about the depth of malice and deceitfulness, which is very sick and demented. These are the demons that are conspiring my murder, going into courtrooms and perjuring themselves. They're going to prison, and they're doing so with the demons that are gang stalking, just like the Stater Brothers employees. Let me go ahead and get him. This is another Stater Brother employee. This is why Shanita Ramaya McLean is perjuring herself in court while license 7BWL388 and the U.S. military are stalking at the Stater Brothers under a fake sun. These are the demons that are acting cooperatively. Okay, there are no strangers. This is a surveillance system, and this is an entity that's acting as I'm describing all the angles of that system, that Shanita Ramaya McLean, down to the perverted use of her genitalia, while this chubby girl that I've known since 3rd grade wanted to have sex with somebody that I don't even want because she thought my feelings were going to be hurt. She's mentally ill. And it's unfortunate she gave birth to what I told you the demons do. They give birth to dead people, demons that are gang stalking as well. This is an entity that's posing a threat while I'm exposing to you what you need to know about this beast system. The demon possessed that are targeting you, and they are very well in your social circle and in your family. Okay, it's a matter of what is targeting you. When you're being targeted, you don't have a friend or a relative that's not engaging in that. I have broken down the entirety of the pattern of conduct. You are being targeted and you have been isolated. So you have fake family, you have fake friends, and they are engaged in they're all having sex with each other. And the judgment there is that they all have HIV, okay? They've all infected each other while they've engaged in this, and they are still stalking me while they have serious issues that they should be tending to, like they're burning genitalia, seriously. They're going to prison, and you're not going to have the adequate medical resources to tend to that virus, okay, that doesn't have a cure. And it's not the federal government's responsibility to make sure that you're comfortable with HIV when you're in prison. And this is just the entity that is reaping judgment. They all were jumping on each other while I've been maintaining this investigation. They're still stalking, and that's not helping Shanita. Shanita's going to prison. Okay, she's going to federal prison, and they're doing so behind a cockamamie plot, which was never going to work. Defaming me and stalking me does not equal mental illness. That's literally the plan. And you have the United States military that are engaging in stalking in front of the whole world. In front of the entire world, you all know what the entity is doing. This is not a plan that was formed very well at all. And then you have a mentally ill psychopath, a sexual psychopath like Jason Isaac Fields, a homosexual that doesn't like women, which is why he's having sex both with elderly women like Tracy Banks, and he's having sex with all manner of women because sex is just a physical act to him. This is one that is actually enamored with men and men's genitalia. And that's because he is a demon and he's obsessed with me, and he's envious of literally that I'm a woman, while at the same time he hates me. This is a psychopath who is stalking, and he's doing so in furtherance of murder, and he is not going to actually come into my presence. This is an entity that's engaging in that level of targeting with the mentally ill, and they are all demon possessed, all of them. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:21 a.m. and this is the entity that's engaging in that with the assistant manager is the one that's gang stalking in the parking lot right now, doing so, pushing those shopping carts. That's what's so beneficial about the gang stalking. When the manager walks in, it's the P.O.C. When the assistant manager is walking in, it's the P.O.C. When the customers are walking in, it's the P.O.C. When the entity is driving by in any manner of a vehicle, such as you already know that the Ontario police are stalking. They have totally shown their hand. And this is the entity that is the next second wants you to believe the way that it looks. It looks like you're stalking. No one forgot that. They are literally mentally ill. Okay, but this is the totality of those facts. This is an entity that's engaged in that, and it's a company that's going to be prosecuted. The companies are serving for not only compensating American citizens, but also removing the threat that are these companies that will not be able to afford the type of damages that are generating from terrorism and sexual violence and the inhumanity of stalking with the government, like the government is providing the evidence against each and every one of these companies and the people of the state where you live, where you work, as you travel, and you bring all of that entity with you, gang stalking an American citizen, and you're trying to murder them while doing things like what Stater Brothers has done, repeatedly poisoning. You're going to federal prison, and I'm going to prosecute that company as well. Those pockets, like Stater Brothers, not quite very deep pockets, but deep enough for me to empty them out, and that's a matter of justice. It is a matter of justice because Stater Brothers is a threat to the public. They are poisoning the public. And this is exactly how American citizens are murdered. As clearly as you hear the government stalking me by planes, the U.S. military is stalking me at a grocery store. They're all stalking in the grocery store, and they're all sharing in what is an unlawful threat to your life. Your inability to buy food and not be worried that it's filled with arsenic. All right, or that it's filled with rat poison, and that they're just stating that it's got some sort of malfunction or some sort of expiration date, some sort of mysterious reason as to why it went, but not even actually even attributing it to something that you bought from a grocery store. This is something that you would likely even never associate, especially the entity that is conducting an autopsy. They're not going to include you died of some suicide or you died of some heart attack, regardless of how healthy you are. This is the threat behind a whole bunch of homosexuals that are in the military gang stalking you. They are not the elite. They are not the finest in the world. They are not. I'm showing you how idiotic, how obsessive, how deceived they are by Satan, and they've been made into clowns, and that's what they are. They are the living dead that have been put into positions in order to abuse the American public, and they're doing so on behalf of the United States president, who knows exactly who I am, and I am being targeted by command of the United States government. This is a government system. And that's also why the Ontario police, the fire department, the demons in the ambulances, the population itself, they're being federally prosecuted for gang stalking on behalf of the U.S. government that doesn't have any right to. And the U.S. government is also being prosecuted as a matter of record. These demons that are in positions of leadership are losing those positions, but they're also being put on the record to be known as a terrorist. This is important to what the Lord God is doing. so that it is on the record. It's no longer a conspiracy theory, because this is going to affect what is going to happen in the future. And what the U.S. military has been doing to those across the globe, this is going to affect what's going to happen in the future. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:25 a.m. This is Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt. Union Pacific is gang stalking, and a bunch of demons are sitting in the parking lot waiting to walk in, pacing, waiting to engage in what is getting out of their vehicles in the parking lot, pacing, engaging what is sitting in the parking lot with their headlights on, stalking with light, while the entity is still pacing. 9XR821. Hold on, let me get that. This is P.O.C. That is 9XCPB21. This is the same entity. The fake sun is here after 4 p.m. yesterday. It's nothing other than stalking. P.O.C. It is currently 6:25 a.m. The entity is engaged in what is the sex offense, which is the government engaging in terrorism of a sexual nature, doing so with Stater Brothers and the city of Ontario. And I'm on surveillance cameras right now. This is P.O.C. Adam Tuckerman is engaged in criminal summoning with the city of Ontario at what is 10:51 a.m. He is inside of the building engaging in what is a series of federal offenses, including the perverted system of vagina monitoring the genitalia of a woman in a women's restroom, and doing so even with those under the age of majority. This is a plethora of federal offenses in concert with minors, which is another offense as well, while he's also engaged in what is harassment, as I document the fact that he's engaged in the criminal conspiracy to murder. He's doing so under the fake sun that popped up. If you pay attention to my documentation, the entity's covering up the fake sun. I'm on Euclid Avenue. It doesn't matter. I've already documented the fake sun, sunrise till sunset, including at the Arco, where O Park is going out of the psychopaths that are engaging in exploiting and taking advantage of and charging money for the demon possessed that are also developmentally challenged. And so they're gang stalking at that Arco at 8th Street in Euclid. And it's a cloudy day, and I already have the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department gang stalking in the morning at that intersection, and Marcelo Blanco gang stalking in the evening under that fake sun, and Marcelo Blanco gang stalking by helicopter while I'm at that same venue at 314 North Euclid Avenue yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m. on the dot, where the fake sun is, as a matter of evidence, putting Adam Tuckerman in prison for gang stalking me under a fake sun and engaging in psychological torture, which includes sexual violence, while he engages in that, facilitates it, provides a venue for it by the city of UPLAND, which is the Upland Public Library, while the entity is amplifying the sound of sirens inside, which is ongoing terrorism. The demons are engaging in what is audible activity creation themselves. The door closure is sounding as though it's slamming, piercing through all the walls and the ceilings throughout the entirety of the library, and that's to stalk me with noise. While, again, Adam Tuckerman is collecting a paycheck as a criminal that's engaged in surveillance and furtherance of murdering people, not an actual and legitimate and law-abiding citizen exercising any constitutional right, moreover, nor an actual employee of the municipality. He's engaged in criminal surveillance with the U.S. military via the city of Upland. And he's getting a check as a director of the library here at Upland Public Library. That's federal prison. So nonetheless, the entities engaged, that's the system of public corruption. And this is the pattern of conduct that followed from Ontario. Okay, so this is what they're doing while the entity is simultaneously keeping the fake sun over Stater Brothers. And the entity is engaged in pacing by plane, stalking, pacing by helicopter, stalking with impossible light, and at the same time, everyone is sitting inside, including Adam Tuckerman, where engineer light fills the library for the duration of the day. And the entity is maintaining that which is mutually exclusive, and that even at either venue, in other words, at no location anywhere in the natural environment, is the sun going to remain at one address for 6 to 7, 8 hours, however long I'm there during the day. And that is what is ongoing, which is Adam Tuckerman's engagement in the pattern of conduct. And that is the city of Upland that's engaged in targeting me, knowing exactly where I'm at, what I'm doing, and also concerning my vagina, which Adam Tuckerman, a sex offender identified by name, is keeping under surveillance. And he does that with minor children. And this is, again, a particularly egregious and perverted pattern of conduct that Adam Tuckerman is engaging in. Sex offenders need to be identified in the same way that terrorists, those that dwell in the country, and it includes the United States government, that is a domestic terrorist. This is P.O.C. It's 10:54 a.m. where the fake sun is remaining over the 450 North Euclid Avenue, Upland Public Library. P.O.C. All right, the mentally ill are repetitiously engaging in criminal summoning. This is COLLIN SHEEHY. This would be MARCELO BLANCO. This would be the mentally ill that are stalking by pacing around the perimeter in ambulances, American Medical Response. They're doing so while the fake sun still is sitting idle over the Upland Public Library. This is monitoring, obsessive monitoring, and it's also very mentally ill behavior, while the people of the state are obsessively stalking. And they are currently engaged in criminal surveillance on the internet. Everyone is violating my privacy, and the state of California, not only California Highway Patrol, which is exposing Gavin Newsom as a domestic terrorist, engaging in the system of surveillance, and is fully engaging in that, not ignorant of it, nor reasonably ignorant about it, but also facilitating it, while the department heads, such as California Highway Patrol, the California Department of Motor Vehicles, including the San Bernardino County, where you are dealing with your benefits that you're getting from the county, San Bernardino County, that's gang stalking me. And as I review the information regarding my account with San Bernardino County that is on the California benefits website, that's the state of California, the city of Upland is monitoring it. Okay, so as I am engaged in what is private, there is no basis for the government to be engaging in violating all of our privacy like that. So when you are receiving your food stamps, for example, if you are getting your paycheck, your direct deposit, you go on your bank account, when you are, whatever it is that you're doing online, you don't have privacy, and everybody is looking at that, including the entity that is monitoring. Just so that you know. And the entity is keeping a fake sun over me, and it is currently 12:13 p.m. And this is what I'm showing you while the entity pops up with the fake sun, very demonic. And it is still over this same Upland Public Library, not moving anywhere. And you know that because when I exit after 6 p.m. and a stalker is crossing path with me, tracking my steps at the entrance door, and a stalker is on Euclid Avenue, walking on the stairs, tracking my steps, gang stalking me as an entity, and all the stalkers that are pacing right now, the people of the state on the roads and the highways who are following me as an entity back to Ontario. This is the entity that's engaging, what is monitoring everything you do on the internet, including that which is regarding your private activity, your money, your accounts, your information with the county, with your doctor, with your bank account, your employer, whatever it is, it's all under surveillance. And I will capture a picture of the fake sun because it's right over me at the same window that it was as I captured 2 hours earlier. This is P.O.C. Yeah, it is. I'll tell you when I call you back. All right. All right, thank you. Just opening up the door and monitoring. Okay, this is what they were doing at IHOP, opening and closing the door, opening and closing the door, opening and closing the door. This sex offender opens and closes the door, uses her device, which is audible activity monitoring. This is what Adam Tuckerman is engaged in, monitoring vagina. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's currently, just so that you can see, this is P.O.C. surrounding and engaging in that sexual violence. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. This is, again, the pattern of conduct shared by Sean Glasher. That's the entity that's engaging in that together. They're engaging in what is monitoring, and that fake sun, which you'll see in the images, remains directly over the same window. Kiki's gang stalking, so is Alan, and so is Andy Tuckerman, and this is vagina monitoring, a corporate invasion of privacy, while the entities, the psychopaths, are pacing around the building, sounding their sirens over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's audible activity, and this is P.O.C. It's currently 12:38 p.m. This is evidence showing the ongoing inability to create a Google account, and the entities engaged in what is, and this is on the laptop, creating an obstacle regarding a necessity of verifying the device with a phone number. And this is assuming that you have a phone, and this is the entity that giving a basis for that, preventing abuse when there is no abuse upon creating the account. This is relevant, I want to be clear, to what I recently documented about Google. This is implicating Google in addition to the U.S. government. Now, remember, Google's merely a third party, so that is the government, but the company, the corporate entity itself, for engaging in a manner of what is obstructing the ability to very easily create a Google account that does not require a phone number. You don't have to create it on a phone even. This is, again, presuming that you're doing that, and I'm documenting it. I did it on this laptop, and I've tried it on all of my devices. I tried it on this phone. I tried it on this phone. I tried it on this phone that I have here, and the entity is trying the same blockage. So I'm going to show this and document with regard to obstruction of justice while the entity is actively conspiring my murder and gang stalking. And so is Google. Google is engaged in that pattern of conduct. That's criminal summoning that is actively underway monitoring my device right now. This is the city of UPLAND. That's specifically COLLIN, SHEEHY, San Bernardino County Fire. These are the demons inside of the Upper Public Library monitoring. So everything that you're hearing is pursuant to monitoring me. The fake sun is over the same library as I documented this morning at 10 o'clock. It's 4:30 p.m. as you can clearly see on your own. All right, this is the screen that's coming up on the phone. The necessity of verifying your phone number. This is assuming that you have a phone number. This is assuming that you are creating a Google account using a phone in the first place, or like if you're creating it on a desktop computer, if you're creating it on a laptop, if you're creating it on an iPad, a tablet, for example. This is specific to seeking to obstruct the ability to create it. And I do want to be clear, while the entity has been, remember, this is all the U.S. government. Even when it's a company name like YouTube or Google, that's the feds. So I just want to let you know that. That is the federal government. That's the U.S. military. That is the entity that is keeping us under surveillance. And YouTube, Google, these are nothing other than third-party facilitating venues on the internet. And I recently documented Google with regard to incalculable harms that you cannot quantify regarding interfering with an investigation, removing my videos that is off of the venue of the internet, and it's going to be very costly. It's very damning evidence. These are the types of things that happen when I document and the entity engages in acts of retaliation. And now I'm incapable of creating a Google account under any circumstances on any of my devices at all. And this has never been the case before. This is relevant. And it's also relevant to prosecuting the government that is keeping us under surveillance, such as Google, in case you did not know that. And I'm going to prosecute Google because this is not a basis to stop the creation of a Google account either. So I will go ahead with the process and show you. The entity goes through the process. This is just to block it. It's going to block it immediately. This is a Wi-Fi phone. It doesn't even have a phone number. And that sort of reasoning for blocking it is nonsensical because someone that doesn't have a phone number is never going to be able to create a Google account. And that's a product that is unusable, useless for someone else. Again, this is the same message that I'm getting on my phone that does have a SIM card that does have service. This is the same superficial means of blocking the ability to create an account. Alrighty, as I stated, this is the screen that generates after that which is not a requirement to create a Google account, and that which is presupposing that you will even have a phone while you're creating a Google account on the internet, which is distinct from having a phone or even creating it on a device that is a cell phone. This is the screen that is blocking the ability to create a Google account altogether. I just want to be clear. A phone is a means of verifying in order to unlock and get into your account that is created outside of the necessity of a phone number. Okay, and that's clear within the operation of Google. But I do want to show here, as I am on the laptop again, also providing that same screen that's requiring now to access another device. This is all assuming that in Google, this is the site that says preventing abuse from computer programs or bots. We're under surveillance and they know exactly what device and who you are while you're accessing it. This is a means of obstruction of justice under all circumstances, but I want to show this because it's also relevant to what I documented specifically about YouTube and Google on my website, and it is a means of prosecuting them, and this is a means of what is retaliation, and it's not some vague, obscure, ambiguous, unintentional means of that. This is very specific to what it is that I'm documenting, and it's a documented pattern, the entity that engages in these sorts of acts after I expose very damning evidence against them, simply put. So I'm going to go ahead and try to access that. Here you go. And it tells the same message. And it did it on my phone that is actually serviced with the phone number and everything. Verify your phone number, and then it stated you've used this number too many times, and I hadn't used it at all. And this blockage is different. This is another technique it's the same verbiage. You've used this phone number too many times. I documented that before, but this illustration, this animation here, and this requirement to verify your phone number, this is new and different. Okay, so this is the entity that's engaging what is an updated means, and this is necessarily implicating Google, not just the city of Upland, for example, not just the U.S. military. These corporate entities are being federally prosecuted. So I want you to see this. Please try again with a phone that is connected to a phone number or a SIM. And I did with a phone number this that is connected to a SIM and a phone number. It is serviced, and it gave me the message that the phone number has been used too many times, which is also false. So I want to document that, and it's also relevant while the entity is in the venue monitoring. This is relevant to what is the obstruction, the inability to create the website. This is surveillance on the device, and this is not a genuine need to guard against bots or robots or the need to verify who you are. We're under surveillance on the internet, and they know who you are. And that knowledge is also why I'm subject to this blockage. This is the same window that I was at this morning during the 10 a.m. hour. I took a picture here. I took a picture here. And this is the fake sun. I'll go ahead and show you. Okay, hold on. The fake sun is here. It's on the same side of the window. Obviously, that's the illusion of sunlight. And this is, okay, this morning, I'll show you the pictures this morning. And here it is over the same window, over the same location. And it's over this portion of the building in the morning when I walk in. In fact, when I walk in, it's over this window, and it moves over on me as I move. So that's why in the morning it's here. And in the afternoon when I sit over there, while it's going from this side of the building to this side of the building, but it's over on this side of the building when it's remaining in its zenith over the top of my head, which I can get at like 12, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's remaining over the top of my head, and that's how I get it in the morning and in the evening. While you're looking at the fake sun that's remaining. This is relevant to what's going on the internet regarding surveillance and knowledge about the devices and the superficial means. Oh, we're doing this for your protection, to identify, to verify. It's a means of obstruction. Okay, I'm being targeted online. All right, and I'm going to show you the images also relevant to that. This is the exact same window that you're looking at it now. And this was at 12:53 p.m. Again, it's 4:40 p.m. So I'll show you my timestamp because I do have a watermark, but this is the same one that's over that third window. So I will show you that again so you can be clear what you're looking at. That's the same window. You can see these windows right here, 1, 2, 3 of them. It's over this third one. And that's the same location. This is the illusion, okay? And it's also illusion online that you have to verify, and that bots and other foreign means of technology are making vulnerable our identity, our safety online, our privacy. You don't have privacy online. We're under surveillance. And I'm showing you surveillance is underway on the internet and a relevant position under the fake sun in the specific environment. They're all in here monitoring my phone. All of them. And the fake sun is here, okay? And this is the city of Upland that's been engaged in psychotic behavior, sounding the sirens over and over and over. And they do so while I clear my cookies, while I clear all my browsing history, while I restart my phone. They're monitoring, and they're engaging in what is that ongoing pattern of conduct. Now I'm going to show you the ongoing evidence that the fake sun set right here over this library all day long while you're looking at it still over me, even at the same window. This same window, this is the same one. I'll show it to you again. This is the same window at 12:53 p.m. Okay, so we're going on 4 hours ago. And before that, this is the demons that are gang stalking, those demons that are mentally ill and medical, wearing scrubs in the medical profession while they're gang stalking me. All right, she's got engineer light on her face. She's monitoring. She's sitting in the engineer light. She's monitoring while the fake sun is over me. Okay, it's right over me where I am standing. And this is where the fake sun is at 12:41 p.m. This is where the fake sun is at 12:31 p.m. The same windows. This is over 4 hours ago. This is the exact same window that I'm standing at right now, where you're looking at the fake sun through this window right now. Over this window is where I'm seated. I'm in this little area right here where these blinds are. And the fake sun is in the same position for it to be over this top window, because that's what you're looking at right now during the 4 p.m. hour. This is at 12:27 in the afternoon. 12:27 p.m. 4 hours ago. This is at 10:31 in the morning. The same window, the same building. It's merely in what is, what you're looking at really is, this is the third window over here. This is where I'm seated over here, this third window. It moved from this one where the TV is to this third one. This is 10:30 in the morning, so that's more than 4 hours. That's 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 6 hours ago, over 6 hours ago. This is where I'm standing in the same venue. This is the P.O.C. This is surveillance. They're making sure they're present. They do so with smiles on their face. They do so while their kids run around. They do so while they check out books and videos. They do so while they use the laptop. They do so while they come in wearing scrubs, as though they're holding a meeting regarding what's going to go on at the hospital and the important matters, while they're coming in and gang stalking. They're doing so under that fake sun while the entity's sounding sirens repeatedly and monitoring vagina in the bathroom and monitoring my device. If this is sunlight at 10:31 in the morning, and the fake sun is over the venue in order to create this, you're still looking at the fake sun that's over the same building I just showed you right now at 4:30. How is the sun ever over Google in San Bruno? Okay, how is in the same state of California, and how is it in Florida, anywhere? And it is always sunny every single day in Florida. Even when it rains, it stops raining and it goes back to being sunny. How is this the case when I'm showing you what is remaining over the Upland Public Library? And then the entity to do that is departing from, totally abandoning the fact that it is remaining from sunrise until sunset at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is the fake sun at 10:30 in the morning. This is the Upland Public Library. This is the Upland Public Library. This is that same window 2 hours later at 12:41 p.m. So this is what I just showed you. And this is where the entity is maintaining that fake sun as I am documenting it over this same window over me where it is right now. Alrighty, let me show you that again. This is the same window where I'm standing. And this is the same location where I'm at this morning at 12. This is the area with the television at. This is where I was at. This is where the entity had the fake sun at 10:30 in the morning at 12:41, as I just showed you. And this is the same building where it's over, shining through a window. Okay, this is not in Florida. It was never in Florida while it remained over the building. And what you're looking at here is juxtaposed with what I'm documenting. That cough in the background is monitoring as I change operations on my phone. This is the fake sun over the roof. This is the roof. That's where I was standing at the entrance. This is the same roof. This is the entity that's engaged in surveillance on the internet. They're engaging in what is monitoring my physical movements, monitoring my device, monitoring my genitalia, all right? And they are stalking in doing so. And the entity is engaged in what is blocking the ability to create a Google account and stating that it is to keep us safe online by preventing abuse from computer programs or bots, and that is serving an illusion. We are under surveillance online, and the entities engaged in this with regard to obstructing justice while Marcelo Blanco is keeping me under surveillance, and Mike LORENZ are stalking me in helicopter as I leave Upland and go into Ontario and vice versa, and the people of the state are maniacal animals stalking me everywhere like the living dead that they are. Going around sparking, coming around to be in a library where they don't even care about reading, and they can't read. Neither can their kids. And they're gang stalking me in the library where the fake sun remains. And like I stated earlier, I just want to make sure that this is clear that surveillance is underway, as I'm showing you in the venue in Upland, California. And it's also underway with regard to what is going on the internet. All right, I'm going to prosecute. This is a means of prosecution, and it includes Google. Google is a third party, meaning the U.S. military is keeping us under surveillance on the internet, and so is Google. And this is a means of obstruction of justice that is unlawful under all circumstances, and it is directly relevant to the fact of an illusion of a fake sun being over the same building for what would be 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6 hours. Okay, it's never in Florida with what I'm documenting, and it's never over you wherever you are in the United States. This is the P.O.C. This is relevant to Title 18 federal stalking, which is a documented pattern, and it's occurring also on what is Upland Wi-Fi. Okay, well, they are engaged in federal stalking, and the city of Upland is sharing in that. So this is also relevant to what the city of Upland is engaged in. This is what is relevant to conspiring murder, obstructing justice, stopping from publishing the evidence, concealing the defendants, concealing the terrorists who are stalking me, trying to interfere with an ongoing investigation while you are still stalking at that. And this is the entity that's engaging in that. This is the entity that's stalking me by helicopter in Upland, maintaining what is criminal summoning, while the entity is engaging in criminal monitoring under things like a fake sun that remains over me as I walk out of the city of Upland into Ontario. Okay, this is the entire city that is keeping me under surveillance, and that is underway on the internet, and that is a basis to prosecute Google as well. Google is a third party, and Google making so much money, Google yielding so much influence, is engaging in surveillance, and it is unreasonable and untenable to suggest that Google is not, and that Google is ignorant about what the U.S. government is engaging in, and Google has not reported that information to us while making money, and also it is an unlawful threat to my life at this circumstance, in this point. All right, this is malicious conduct, and it's also obstruction, all right, which is an unlawful threat. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. All right, and this is relevant to the entity that's engaging in what is criminal surveillance and obstruction while they are keeping my evidence, keeping this investigation under surveillance, and gang stalking me while doing so. Okay, and this is what I showed, the fact that it's stating that I can't create a Google account. This is superficial, and it's also serving an illusion. That reasoning about bots and security, that's deceptive because we're under surveillance, and our safety is already put at risk because the government's keeping us under surveillance, including with the people of the state who are violating our privacy in ways in which are unfathomable to you. But everything is under surveillance, including by those outside of the country, let alone those that surround you, like those at the Upland Public Library, gang stalking under a fake sun with the government. P.O.C. San Bernardino County Fire. This is COLLIN SHEEHY. I'm going to prosecute him. And the Upland Civic Center is going to be removed. This is funding terrorism. It's going to be shut down. This is literally the fake sun, 6 p.m. upon my exit. The mentally ill. And this is what they call retaliation because I'm referring to the mentally ill that are wearing scrubs, gang stalking under the fake sun, by the way, at 12. Here it is at 6. P.O.C. They are also the mentally ill. That's called light activity, relevant positioning, audible activity. Monitoring. Criminal monitoring. COLLIN SHEEHY is monitoring me in furtherance of murder. His superior, Muncie, is not remaining as a fire chief. He's a domestic terrorist. And they're gang stalking pursuant to the U.S. government's pattern of conduct. The U.S. military that's engaging in what is gang stalking, stalking me in planes and helicopters and stalking through the fire department that are not engaged in firefighting. They're engaged in stalking, and they're monitoring my vagina while one of those sex offenders went into the bathroom. They're surrounding upon my exit, and this is the fake sun that's here. Remember all the little demon-possessed children? That was at 10 o'clock in the morning. That was right here on the side of the library. Here is the fake sun on the opposite side of the same library. This is the same street, Euclid Avenue, D Street. Another video. You have what is the fake sun over me while Marcelo Blanco is stalking during the 9 a.m. hour by helicopter. That's this entrance right here. That fake sun that's right here is right here at the same location. We have another video at 10 o'clock in the morning, 9:59 a.m. The fake sun is right over the entrance. And I'm walking in even this morning taking a picture of the fake sun that's right over the entrance. Took a picture of it. I just did a video. The fake sun is over the roof at 4:33 p.m. and here it is right here. It is currently 6:01 p.m. That is COLLIN SHEEHY that wants to murder me. And he is acting in furtherance of that. And so are all the minions, the vagina monitors that are not firefighters, and they're not keeping their job either. And neither is Bill Velto. Okay, that's the Upland City Hall, automatically prosecuted because you're across from the same building where a fake son sits all day. He's a terrorist. He's a vagina monitor. That is a sex offender. This is P.O.C. The people of the state are gang stalking me. They're stalking me all the way back to Ontario. This is P.O.C. and this is the federal prosecution of the U.S. government, and I'm going to prosecute the city of Upland. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is documentation of what is the domestic terrorist that is hiding himself amongst the American people using a deceptive misnomer and living a life regarding the corrupt practices of those that go to law school and even graduate past the California bar, that is past a standardized test that is also tailored to those who are corrupt and also intellectually inferior, where they're gang stalking under things like a fake son and providing evidence against themselves regarding what is going to be prison, deportation, prosecution as terrorists, but yet they're passing the California bar standardized test by this same entity that creates it. And this is the entity that's engaged in what is calling itself civil rights activists, civil rights attorneys. I'm referring to the demon Mark Grossman, whose office has the fake son over me both in the morning, all right, during the 8 a.m., 9 a.m. hour, and it is 6:13 p.m. Mark Grossman is indeed a gang stalker, and while he is also a gang stalker under the law, while people of the state are in the parking lot, in the private property of Mark Grossman, gang stalking me. Under both circumstances under the law, Mark Grossman is gang stalking. But indeed, he is gang stalking, and he's a terrorist. He is not engaged in or genuinely interested in the civil rights of anyone. He represents the terrorists who are the people of the state. He engages in the practice of law amongst terrorists in these corrupt courts. He is serving this surveillance system in violation of the privacy rights and the human rights of American citizens, their constitutional rights. And he is a part of what is this corrupt system and pushing forth what is that, perpetuating that ongoing system as a demon-possessed corrupt attorney in the that's a part of the California bar. All right, not only are they under the fake son that's here, I'll attach that video, and it also precedes what is, it actually is dated before 2026, because I have video in 2026, but I have other video before 2026. And that's how you know it's not the sun that's over me in the morning. And all the lit up like a Christmas tree underneath this covered structure. That's not sunlight, it's engineer light. And that's not on the ground here either. The same pattern. This is a pattern regarding surveillance. And that's what that's what a law office, a venue, is engaging in. And all of the entity is engaging in surveillance with high school degrees, okay, dropouts, prostitutes, drug addicts, IHOP employees, any random sex offender that gets off the Metrolink and wants to monitor vagina. All right, they're engaging in that pattern of conduct while that pattern remains, while that environment remains, where the U.S. government, psychopaths, homosexuals that are calling themselves upright, noble military, they're a bunch of stalkers keeping us under surveillance. They are terrorists. And that's why this environment is here. And moreover, they're demons. And that's what you're deducing from this environment. That's over, by the way, a law office. This is speaking to massive public corruption. You are unfit to practice law as an officer of the court, engaging in what is this inherently corrupt system. And this is speaking, that is also, in other words, demonstrating the corruption of what is the United States. All right, this is meeting in the path. This is a stalker. This is literally the stalking conduct meeting in the path. But you need to know that this is Mark Grossman, who will be prosecuted. And this is a basis to report you to the bar that's going to be forced to comply with federal law and no longer perpetuate this corrupt surveillance system in every other area in society as well. P.O.C.